All right, folks. Well, welcome back. This is Timber Ridge Outfitters for our podcast today. We've got a couple of guests, Kimberly and Bubba Farrell. We're going to talk a little bit about how we met, a little bit about what they do, why it's so meaningful to them and to a lot of folks. So let's just get started on it. Like I said, Kimberly, Bubba, I don't know which one you want to start with, but let's just talk about, well, why are we here? What do we do?
I have a charity called Envelopes for Hope.
That's right.
And I remember you coming too. I forget which year you came. The first,
3 years
second,
ago.
3 years ago.
Yep.
And you were a participant.
Yep.
And one thing that I remember is days after the shoot, or maybe even that night, I got on social media and you had given me a shout out, and you were just so incredible. And I didn't even know you, Yep. And I was just like, Bubba, this guy's giving me a shout out in our clay crush, and
yep. Well, that's awesome.
So I knew your name for sure.
Man, I didn't even remember that, but I do remember it now because we were doing it for armor insulation.
There you go. That's
yep,
right.
That's right. So and I guess our mutual friend Susan Gaskin is the one that kind of hooked me up and said, "Hey, you guys need to come shoot. This lady's got an awesome cause. You need to come, check it out. And know y'all love to shoot skeet because we shoot skeet, or I say clays in this one,
go.
Right?
But we shoot clays a lot. We do the Lions Club shoot as well. But tell us a little bit about how the whole deal got started. Bubba, you started shooting at the Pines first, or you didn't?
Yep. So I started shooting at the Pines, I don't know, 8 or 9, maybe 10 years ago. And soon after I joined them, my wife was diagnosed with cancer. And so I had to kind of quit the Pines a little bit and met them. And then during my wife's cancer treatments, she had a group called Rumble Against Cancer come to visit her. Played a big impact on her life, and soon after she got done with that, she said, I want to do something special for a group called Rumble Against Cancer. So I went to the Pines and everything. I couldn't think of anything else, and I thought, well, maybe we can have a sporting clay shoot. So we did, and we took it to the board, and they said, sure, if you'd like to have one, you can do it. Hopefully it'd be a big success, and we'll get it done. Well, we were hoping for, 25, 30 shooters our first shoot. We had 65, 70 shooters our first shoot, and it was just unbelievable.
That's awesome.
And the support from Pines has just been fantastic. And then a couple of years, I think, after that's when Susan Gaskin got on board, and she's been on board. And then that's when she introduced you to me, and you came to the first shoot, and it's just been awesome ever since.
For sure. Yeah. That's dang sure. We love it every year. And now, obviously, we proceeded into Timber Ridge, and then teamed up with you guys and sponsored it last year, and intend to do so again this year, which was amazing as well. It's kind of a everybody benefits type thing, but
for sure.
I've heard your story a couple times, but of course I have to ask you to tell us about it.
I'll try to. It's a long story. It's my journey. It's my life,
of course,
right? And
of course.
I just celebrated 5 years.
Oh, congratulations!
No evidence
That's
of
awesome.
disease. So it's been an amazing journey. From the day that I was diagnosed in 2017 with an aggressive type of breast cancer, and it knocked us off our feet. 45 years old, you're not thinking of cancer.
No.
There's, it's just not on your radar, and but you just have to get going and start your treatment, and I did, and it was shortly after that I had started chemo. Side effects were kicking in. I just lost my hair, and we spent a Friday night shaving my head, and if his hat was off, you'd know he's bald. And I said, yep, now I can relate to being bald.
Oh my God.
Exactly right.
Like, you have to be humorous when you can during this, right?
For sure.
But it was about a month after I started treatment that I got a huge blessing. I got a phone call one Sunday afternoon, and I don't know who took the call, but I was told to go outside on my patio. And I went out on my patio, and I waited, and I was sitting there. It was a beautiful, clear, crisp day, and I started hearing this low rumble. And your brain's thinking, well, what is that? And I thought, well, it sounds like a motorcycle. And the sounds got louder and louder. And I thought, well, that sounds like a lot of motorcycles. And about that time, I looked down. We have a very long driveway. I saw all these motorcycles just riding towards me, and I couldn't process it. I didn't know what was going on. I thought, I know my one brother rides a motorcycle, but I really didn't know who else. Anyway, they all came to a stop, took off their, helmets, and it was impressive because it was cold, so they all had black leather chaps and jackets and gloves and helmets, and they started taking off their helmets, and I thought, I don't know that person. I don't know that person. I don't know that person. There were 6 motorcycles. Last 2 people were on the last motorcycle was my brother and his wife. And I felt a little relief in that moment, thinking, oh, I know somebody.
I'm not fixing to get robbed.
Right. I thought, oh, my goodness. So I remember running up to them and hugging them, but still kind of wondering what was going on. Well, come to find out, he knew some friends of theirs that had started an organization called Rumble Against Cancer. And they started it to reach out to cancer patients.
Sure.
And they had reached out to my brother asking, would you mind if we went and visited her?
Oh, that's awesome.
They rode all the way from Dallas on a Sunday afternoon.
God, no.
Just to visit me and spend time with me and my family. And basically they just spent time sharing their stories about how, some of the people in their lives had cancer, just lifting me up, and it was a good day. So
That's
spent
awesome.
a couple hours with us, and right before they left, they handed me an envelope. And I opened it, and inside that envelope was a very generous check, and I was kind of blown away. I thought, here's these strangers reaching out to me. Them just coming here was enough. And but they also gave me a gift. And they stood around and prayed for me, and I always say they rumbled off. And and I knew something inside that day changed
Sure.
or shifted, or I just felt something. I had never been touched by complete strangers before. You expect your family and friends to be there, and they were, but strangers, it's taken me years to figure out, I still draw on that day, as strength, and that's given me, God put in my heart to kind of follow in their footsteps.
Do what you're doing now.
And do it on my own. So quietly, since they gave me a very generous check, all they want to do is tell me is put a smile on your face, do something that makes you happy. And I can never figure out what to spend that money on. You can buy something that makes you happy, for a day,
Minutes,
and then it's gone. So I don't know. I just thought about it, prayed about it, and God put in my heart one day and said, why don't you do what they did for you, do that for others. So as I continued on with my treatments, I had 5 months of chemo and, surgery and radiation. I was going to the doctors, and MD Anderson quite a bit.
Wow.
And when you sit in waiting rooms, it's daunting. You sit there, you're waiting for test results, or it's not a pleasant place. You're always waiting to get treatment or whatever. But
test, whatever.
Test
never
results,
fun.
and it's nerve-wracking, to say the least. And everybody else sitting there, for the same reason.
Sure.
You go to a cancer hospital, they're all there for that. And I thought, well, I'm just going to start taking that money and put it in envelopes and write a little note of encouragement and hand them out. And so the day before my own appointment, I would do that, and it would give me something to look forward to, other than thinking about what was going to be going on with myself.
Yeah.
There was nothing better than handing it to a stranger, someone else sitting there, and just the look on their face, just that fact that I reached out to them, they were overwhelmed. They felt the way I felt, the way that Rumble Riders
Sure.
made me feel. So I just kind of quietly kept doing that on my own.
That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. And then it blossomed into...
It did. It took a while. I had finished all our treatment, my treatment in 2018, and we went on a fishing trip to Canada, and that's when he surprised me with this envelope with Kimberly's Clay Crush for Cancer. And I thought, okay, it looks great. It was a beautiful flyer. I said, you're going to have to explain to me. And so we go back to, he had decided to have a fundraiser for the Rumble Against Cancer group.
Yep.
I'd always said, I always told them, I didn't feel like I had to pay them back the money they gave me. That wasn't what it was about. I just wanted to show them my appreciation
Sure.
of how much they meant to me. And when I couldn't come up with anything, he came up with the idea
That's
to
awesome.
have the fundraiser.
That's awesome.
And so that October, we had the fundraiser, raised, I believe, $18,000, somewhere
Somewhere on there, 18,
for
12.
Rumble
Yeah.
Against Cancer.
Wow.
And we handed them a check.
God, dog,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. So
Just first right out of the bat.
that's
Yep.
right. All our friends and family joined us, and it was amazing because we did,
We sure didn't know what we were doing when it
Yeah.
come
No.
to that. We just, the Pines was awesome. I asked them if we could do it. They said yes. I called some friends of mine and said, hey, would you come and shoot? They said, yeah, we'll be happy to, And they all knew my wife, and so they did. We had 60, 65 shooters, I think, our first event. And it was just we were blown away. It was absolutely amazing.
And it ran amazing.
And,
everybody, I mean, it was family and friends volunteering, putting it together, doing everything. And
just fantastic.
Yep.
I kind of stood back that day in just amazement, you know.
And it's obviously grown significantly because last year was huge. I don't know how many was there last year.
So last year we had 160 shooters and over 75 volunteers.
Wow.
Yeah.
God.
So it's grown a lot in 5 years. It's absolutely amazing. All the support, and the companies and friends and family that come and support it. It's unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing what people will step up to whenever they're called. I mean, me and my wife were having the discussion today. I don't know if y'all know this, is the lottery's like 500 million.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we're like, man, that would be awesome to win that. But what do we do with it?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, you give most of it away. Like you were saying earlier,
right.
You can buy something, but it ain't fun but for a little bit.
Yep.
The best thing to do would be to, donate it to some worthy cause. You don't know what it is right now, but that puts meaning in your heart. It makes you feel like you're actually worthy of something, I guess I would say.
For sure.
But yeah, one thing I forgot at the beginning of this was where we're coming to you from today, which is Red House Winery, not to distract, but I want to make sure I call these guys out. Red House Winery here in Nacogdoches, owned by Jacob and Ricky Lee Willoughby. They make fabulous wine out here today. We've also got some of the Envelopes for Hope caps and koozies out here as well. Come by and taste the wine. It's amazing. We're wine club members here, have been for several years. And obviously we do support Envelopes for Hope and would like to do more with them in the future. What are we planning for this year? Is it anything different on there? We got any more stations? Any new?
We don't have any really new plans other than we might have to do two tiers of shoot because it is growing so much, and that's our hope.
Oh wow!
With great sponsors like you, Timber Ridge, and with you and John Albritton, we just can't thank the companies and people that have come out and supported it.
Yeah.
Man, that for sure. And hopefully we can just keep getting more of those sponsorships in there. I mean, the Pines is awesome. It's a great place for sure.
Absolutely.
It's first class facility. I really appreciate you inviting us to shoot with you this year.
Oh yeah, and had a great time at the league this year. Yeah.
Sorry I wasn't more help to the team,
no. It was good.
Practice.
It was all good. And that's why I wanted you to come, because we want to do more with Timber Ridge and get y'all more out there to do things.
Sure.
So and a name and a face goes a long ways.
It sure does. It sure
absolutely.
does. Well,
absolutely.
I don't want to take up too much of your time today, but I do appreciate you coming out here and talking with us for sure and sharing the story, because like everything, we want to get it out there to everybody, get more folks out there shooting, maybe do two events,
Absolutely.
Do other fundraisers throughout the year. On that, I do have a little bit of a surprise for you today. We announced it a couple of weeks ago that we were doing a raffle for 2 different guns. And what we decided to do, me and John talked about it today and said, what we need to do is just go ahead and donate those proceeds to Envelopes for Hope this year.
Oh, wow.
So when we do get those tickets sold, that the proceeds will go to you guys. So
I appreciate you guys so much.
No problem. I mean,
y'all are just amazing. It's like, it just never ends. And what I have to let people know is, yes, I started a charity, and it was a long process. It wasn't even until the following year after that first fundraiser that idea came to me, one Christmas morning, and I had shared a story with him, and we kind of went from there. And I'm a cancer survivor.
Yep.
And I'm not just, the president of this charity. And it's been 5 years. And just you guys just wanting to be part of it. It's so healing for me as a survivor. There's a lot to heal from when you have cancer. It's not just physical, it's emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always going to be emotional because of people like you that just still want to come and help. And, I stand up and give my speech every year, and it's a hard day. It's hard to do that. I just speak from my heart, but to look out every year and watch it grow.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, why are these people out here? Or why are they wanting to support me? It's just unreal for me. So when you do something so kind like that, it just is really touching, and I just really appreciate you guys very much.
We're happy to be a part of it and happy to support it. I don't know if I've told you guys this, but there's a lady in our office that is a breast cancer survivor, and we witnessed her go through it, you know, and just keep a smile on her face. And
Right.
at that time, she'd keep a ball cap on her head.
Yep.
She'd probably kill me for saying this, but her name's Sarah Holloway. Her husband's Josh Holloway. Been buddies with Josh since we grew up together, essentially.
Right.
And him and his brother and Caleb Holloway, you know, may have seen a podcast or two on him as well. Story's awesome. You need to go watch one that, you just need to go look Caleb Holloway up on YouTube and watch the deal that these guys put out on him. Gunnar Michele. I always say it wrong. Anyway, him and his brothers put on an awesome podcast with Caleb, and y'all need to go check that out for sure. But everybody's going through something. You never know when they're going through it. You see somebody in the store and you walk up on somebody and they've got a bad attitude and you don't know what they're going through.
Right.
So it's always better to keep a smile on your face and say, hey man, can I help you out?
That's what we're
And that's what we're trying to do.
That's right. And that's what we're meant to be doing here on this earth, is helping one another and any way you can and any little bit you can. And if you can just put a smile on somebody's face that day, you, like you said, you have no idea what that person might be going through. And, it could just be small. It doesn't have to be, driving motorcycles down somebody's driveway. But that was pretty impressive. But it's the small things too.
That is,
that could change somebody's attitude and path. And I never knew I'd be going down this path if it hadn't been for the Rumble Riders, visiting me. I never saw this coming.
Nope.
Well, like you
and
said,
I wouldn't change a thing though either. I really want it. That's the thing.
Wow.
I don't want cancer again. I say it all the time. I don't want that again. But I feel like it was all a blessing. Like I wouldn't have wanted it any other way to be where I'm sitting today and having to go through all of that. I wouldn't change it.
Wow.
So
that's something to say for sure. I guess that's all I've got for today. Hopefully tonight, like you guys know, we're here tonight. We're going to be here tonight at the East Texas Sportsman's Club Association banquet. That's another fundraiser for a very good cause as well. And hopefully we get some of those guys to come out shoot with you guys this fall, or us this fall. Bubba, you got any?
I don't. We just want to say thanks for giving us this opportunity and appreciate y'all's support.
we do.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very
Yes, ma'am.
much.
Folks, that's all we got. If you like the video, like it, share it, subscribe. We'll be bringing more. Hopefully, more content like this that actually is meaningful, not just another gun. But we are Timber Ridge Outfitters, so we're going to be doing a lot of that as well. But we appreciate y'all tuning in.